the hidden network controlling the flow of global currency. For most people, money feels simple. You work, you earn it, you spend it, and sometimes, if you're lucky, you save a little. But behind this everyday experience lies something far more complex. It's far more coordinated and far more powerful than anything we interact with directly. Because the truth is this: modern currency is not just printed, transferred, or stored, it flows. Today's video is about that hidden plumbing system that moves trillions of dollars across borders without anyone ever seeing it. A system built not by governments alone, but by a quiet alliance of central banks, private institutions, financial messaging networks, policymakers who operate in shadows far away from public eyes. And once you understand how the system emerged, how it evolved, how it gained control, and why every country on Earth depends on it, your understanding of the global economy will change forever. Because what if I told you that the way money moves today was never voted on, never debated publicly, and never designed for your benefit? What if I told you it was shaped by crises, backroom deals, secret committees, international clubs, and emergency decisions that hardened into permanent rules? And what if I told you that the network controlling global currency ISN, TA conspiracy theory at S, simply a reality we were never meant to notice? That is the mystery at the heart of this story. And to solve it, we need to go back, far back. For most of human history, money didn't need a global network. Currency was local, physical, and slow. Trade was limited by distance, and economies grew at the pace of horse travel. The first cracks in this world appeared not because of war or politics, but because of technology. The telegraph, introduced in the mid-1800s, was the first machine that allowed money to move faster than humans. Banks suddenly realized they could trade across borders instantly. Currencies could be priced against each other daily. Arbitrage became possible. And with this speed came the need for coordination. By the late 1800s, a new class of international banks, Rothschilds in Europe, Barings in Britain, Morgan in America, began acting as unofficial bridges between currency zones. They held gold in vaults. They managed settlements for governments. They created trust networks that allowed money to move with credibility. But global currency still had no true network. No standardized communication, no agreed-upon rules, no unified infrastructure. This lack of structure became catastrophic in 1914. When World War I erupted, nations panicked. They suspended the gold standard. They froze foreign accounts. They blocked transfers. The global currency system shattered overnight, revealing a dangerous truth. Without coordination, money collapses into chaos. And it was that fear chaos that pushed world leaders to begin work on something new, something controlled, something coordinated. The seeds of the hidden network were planted. The next major milestone came after World War II, at the 1944 Bretton Woods Conference. Most people know the headline. The US dollar was chosen as the backbone of the modern global system, backed by gold. But few people understand the deeper architecture that was constructed behind it. Bretton Woods didn't just create the IMF and World Bank, it created the first blueprint for controlling the flow of global currency. This blueprint relied on three pillars. Their meetings wouldn't be democratic. Their agreements wouldn't require public approval. They would coordinate interest rates, liquidity, and currency stability as a silent, unified bloc. International institutions would oversee balance of payments crises. Translation: if a country ran out of money, someone else could step in, but only under strict conditions. A single currency anchored the US dollar would dominate global settlement. Meaning, if money flowed anywhere, it eventually flowed through America. But this architecture still lacked a crucial piece: a technical network capable of transmitting currency instructions instantly, securely, and globally. That missing piece emerged in the 1970s. In 1973, as the world recovered from the collapse of the Bretton Woods gold standard, a group of 239 banks from 15 countries created a cooperative message network known as SWIFT, the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. SWIFT was not a bank. It simply transmitted encrypted instructions between institutions. But because these instructions determined where money should go, SWIFT effectively became the circulatory system of global currency. Today, it connects more than 11,000 institutions across 200 countries, processing over 40 million messages per day, directing trillions of dollars. This was the rise. The moment when cooperation turned to dependence. When the world realized it could no longer move money without this invisible network. The breaking point when the network became a weapon for decades. The global currency network operated quietly. It wasn't in the news. It was seen as a technical service, nothing more. The United States and European Union used SWIFT to isolate Iran from the global financial system. Overnight, Iranian banks were cut off. They could no longer receive or send international transfers. Their currency collapsed, inflation exploded, and the country's financial system nearly imploded. The message was unmistakable. The network was not neutral. It could be turned on, and whoever controlled it had unprecedented power. This event triggered panic among nations not aligned with the US. Russia, China, and other countries began building their own alternative networks. But even with these alternatives, SWIFT remains the central artery of global currency. Because alternatives lack scale, trust, and universal adoption. The breaking point revealed something deeper. The global currency system had evolved into a hierarchy, not an equal partnership. At the top, the issuing countries and institutions of the dominant currencies. Below, nations dependent on access to the global financial bloodstream. The fallout from this centralized architecture affects every country on Earth, even if most citizens never realize it. Because the hidden network doesn't just move money, it shapes economic destiny. When the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, trillions of dollars flow back into U.S. assets, draining liquidity from developing countries. Their currencies fall, their debt burdens rise, their economies slow. None of this is accidental. It's a direct consequence of a global system built around centralized control. When the IMF steps in to stabilize a country, the conditions often include austerity measures, currency devaluations, subsidy cuts, and structural reforms that reshape entire societies. Again, this is not democracy. It is conditional participation in a network with rules set far above national governments. When multinational banks reroute capital, entire industries rise or collapse. When they withdraw, countries face crises. When they invest, currencies strengthen. Their decisions, guided by global signals and liquidity flows, override local priorities. This fallout is not random. It's a structural feature of a system designed to centralize coordination while decentralizing consequences. Countries have tried to break free. Some built capital controls. Some created commodity-backed currencies. Some experimented with local clearing systems. Some stockpiled gold. Some adopted dollar-less trade agreements. But every attempt hits the same three barriers. 1. Network effects. When everyone uses the same financial infrastructure, switching away is costly and risky. Currencies depend on trust. Networks depend on critical mass. 2. Liquidity, gravity. Global finance acts like a planet. Capital flows toward deep, stable markets. The US dollar is the largest gravitational center. 3. Technical standardization. SWIFT messaging, Basel rules, correspondent banking networks, central bank accords. These are not easily replicated. They took decades to develop. The result? Countries don't escape. They adapt. Independence deepens. Today, the global currency network is facing its biggest challenges since the 1970s. And once again, history is repeating. The rise of digital currencies and CBDCs resembles the early telegraph-era technological shift that will demand new rules, new coordination, and new power structures. The U.S. weaponization of financial access mirrors earlier moments when currency dominance was enforced through political decisions. The creation of BRICS financial systems echoes the birth of alternative networks after the end of Bretton Woods and the explosion of global debt now over $315 trillion resembles the pre-crisis buildup of every major monetary collapse in history. Patterns repeat because the architecture never changed, only the tools did. 3 critical takeaways. 1. The global currency system is not accidental, it's engineered. Every crisis, reform, and policy decision of the last century shaped a coordinated but unequal network. 2. Currency power is not about printing money, it's about controlling the pipes. The network that moves money is often more powerful than the entities that create it. 3. The next global shift will not be voted on. It will emerge from crisis, speed, and technological necessity, just like every shift before it. We are standing at the doorway of a new monetary era. Central bank digital currencies, blockchain settlement layers, AI-driven liquidity flows, geopolitical fragmentation, all of these forces are rewriting the architecture quietly, invisibly, and rapidly. When the next crisis hits, decisions will be made behind closed doors again. New rules will be created, new networks will form. And unless you understand how the existing system works, you will have no idea what the new one is replacing. If you want more deep dives into the hidden systems shaping global finance, money creation, debt expansion, and the secret architecture of economic power, make sure you subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. Because the world you're living in is changing faster than ever, and the people who understand the truth will have the advantage. The hidden network is real, it is powerful, and soon it will evolve again.